Very good presentation. I think it's the best base for the next one for Paul, which is going to speak about how to design, I think, extraordinary experience. Thank you, Paul.
All right. Hello, everyone. Let's see. Good. Can I have a suggestion from the technical? If you can put presenter mode so I can see next slide on the screen, that would be awesome. If not, I'm fine. Cool. So let's see if you are awake. So I'm going to start with a small exercise. When I say free, you should clap your hands. Are you ready? 1, 2, free. Okay, let's try it again. 1, 2, free. Okay, much better. Good. Now, we're at a convention of many nationalities, and I have no idea how many nationalities are in the room. But just to get a small sample, I would like you, like when I say free, to just yell out your country name. Okay? 1, 2, free. Okay, let's try it again. 1, 2, free. Very nice. A lot of countries. So this is about how to design extraordinary experiences, and this is my relation with the snow and the mountains. I used to work as a snowboard instructor in a ski resort in Romania, where I made in Romania, international citizen, and this is not a designed experience. This is no tourism facilitator, no tourism organization brought the snow there, or made sure that the powder is there, or made sure that there are no other humans on the piste, or even facilitated me the access to have that powder there. Now, which of you can relate with this feeling of free ride and snowboarding or skiing in pure powder? Raise your hands. Okay, some people. Good. For the others that didn't experience it, you're missing a hell of an experience. This is an extraordinary experience indeed. But it has nothing to do that much with tourism, because it's my own effort to learn. I learned by myself. I had to hike up there by myself after I took a ski lift that left me 1 hour away. So it was helped by the tourism industry, but not designed by the tourism industry. So, I'll come back to that later because it is very relevant. I have studied at the Salzburg University of Applied Sciences, innovation in tourism, and together with Roman Egger, my professor, we wrote a book called Gamification in Tourism. Why is this very important? The subtitle of it is How to Design Memorable Experiences. Well, we had just a conversation over lunch that tourism has always been about designing experiences. That's what tourism sells, actually. But the question is, what is the level of mindful design that you put in your experiences? Not that much. If we look at games, especially video games, and look at people's faces when they play them, they look like this. This is a picture taken by Toledano of someone playing video games, and they're in flow. They have peak experience. The same peak experience that I had when I was snowboarding in powder, you can see it here. The difference is that this is a fully 100% designed experience by a game designer for me to be in flow. So what I looked into is how can we take the psychology behind designing games and apply it to tourism so that we have more of peak experience, more presence, less people on their phone, less people disconnected, more people being alive and present in the moment. And then from the frustration that I had by being invited to a lot of places to talk after I wrote the book, I also noticed that at conferences that I talk to, or most of the experience that I have, are not designed for that. They're not designed to be mindful, to be present. You can already see, you are already asleep, more or less. So think about how would you apply knowledge to be fully engaged all the time. And that's what we try to do at the College of Extraordinary Experiences. We took the conference experience to the next level, where we have no stage and chairs, but we have a co-created, facilitated experience by experienced designers. And it takes place in a 13th century castle in Poland for 4 days, where people are fully immersed in learning, immersive learning. We did this because we believe that the world needs something different. And there are not that many people worldwide that do this because it's so new. We're in the early adoption stage, even though people talk about it since more than 20 years. Now, I'm an experienced designer. This is my title, this is what I do. I design experiences. And I want to challenge you for a small little exercise. So if you have a piece of paper and a pen, I want you to draw a river and then draw a way of how to cross the river from one side to the other. So draw a river, and then how do you cross the river from one side to the other? I want you to draw that. I'll just give you some seconds. Okay. Finished? Yeah? Okay. So, if you noticed, I never mentioned to draw a bridge while I was speaking. But here it was written, draw a bridge. How many of you have drawn a bridge? Hands up. Okay, I have subliminally influenced you. Good. Now, this is how we normally think. We think in bridges. And this is the main challenge that the tourism industry and all industries have right now, especially for the young generation, to design engaging experiences for them. Everyone thinks in bridges. Everyone spends a lot of money on making expensive-looking bridges to cross the river. Now, I want you to take some time and draw an extraordinary way of how to cross the river that is fun, that is incredible, that is memorable. So, take some time and draw a way of how to cross the river in a remarkable, extraordinary way. You'll need a bit more time for this. Okay. Anyone wants to share? Okay, can you raise up and say what you have been doing? You just have to raise your voice a bit. So, how does it look like? What's the experience?
So the first way in which I draw to go across the river was with stones. The second one with woods, and the third one with like a bridge, rope and wood as well.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so jumping from one stone to another is a more interesting way of crossing the river than having a bridge. Anyone else wants to share? Yes? A tunnel with a glass roof. Excellent. Now, if you're just an experienced designer right now. That's how an experienced designer thinks. Looks at how do we make this interesting? How do we make it fascinating? How do we make people go, wow? How do we make it memorable? And you're all experienced designers. You just have to be mindful about it. When you are staging Christmas for your children or friends or designing a surprise birthday party, you're always thinking about the experience of the person that you're designing for. You're always using storytelling. You're always using pacing, gifting, anticipation, and so on. You have to use the same type of thinking in tourism for your customers. And only then you will be able to do extraordinary experiences. And we have been talking today about how everything looks the same. Everything looks the same in tourism, more or less with different colors. Now, these are key visuals used by selected winter destinations. Been shown by our professor on brand management who used to manage the brand Tirol, Roger Ayermi. So, how many of these destinations do you recognize? These are the key marketing visuals that they are using on their websites, in their brochures. Which one is recognizable? Can you recognize any of them except Zermatt in Switzerland because the mountain is there and so distinct? Any tries? Key marketing visuals used by these destinations. Different countries, same thing. Then you have someone in Switzerland that comes with the idea of making a zero-star hotel or glamping. And then it goes viral. Everyone talks about it. Everyone wants to be there. People from all the countries. Why? It's because everything looks the same. So when you do something different, people talk about it because people want this. Instead, what happens in the industry? We invest 25 million euros in making a new luxury hotel. The question is, how can you apply the type of thinking that I just talked about, not draw a bridge, but make something else, and use the same money to make something extraordinary? This is the most important slide that I have in my presentation. It's a book by Pine and Gilmore called The Experience Economy, written in 1999. There have been many others that have talked about this, but this is what actually happens. And I'm going to read my notes from today to just make a sum up of what has been talked about until so far. So we had the Prime Minister of Andorra saying that the big question in tourism is quantity versus quality. That is an essential question on strategy. And what we see here is when we think in quantity, we end up being commoditized. We end up being judged only by price and price only. So I have someone who just said, Albert said, that lower prices for hotels or shut down if we do not do anything about it. Because we have so many beds, and they're all the same. Renovated or not renovated, they're all the same. What else do I have here that is interesting? You see the same everywhere in tourism. Dimitrios Bouhalis said this. So he also mentioned that we need to change the focus from booking and planning. We already have a lot of booking and planning platforms to dreaming and the experience phase through technology and also analog. We have a mention from the Prime Minister again, saying that above and beyond technology, we have people that need to be trained and educated to facilitate experiences. And if I'm looking here at the UNWTO agenda of priorities, I think number one priority is, do you know? Education and job creation. That means we need to create interesting jobs. Interesting jobs. People need to be fascinated. And if they stage extraordinary experiences versus doing the same thing over and over in a hotel, they'll be fascinated and want to grow in your experience. Innovation and technology as a second priority, safety and security, sustainability and climate change. Now let's look at this and analyze it a little bit. This goes through the evolution of economy. So we start at the bottom here. Okay, here's the laser. Good. So we have here market. So the price is influenced by the market, supply and demand, or it is premium. And the competitive position, since we're talking about differentiation, at the bottom is undifferentiated, at the top is differentiated. So let's look at the agrarian economy. We have extract commodities as the main economic thing that people were doing. They were extracting commodities. Well, then we have the industrial economy. We're making goods. If we customize goods, we deliver them in services. Further on, if we customize services, we stage experiences. And if we customize experiences, we guide, and this is very important, we guide transformations for people. And the interest and importance on guiding transformation and not only staging experiences, because if you have the same type of glamping accommodation all over Lapland, it will not be that special anymore. So you might end up being commoditized, undifferentiated, and influenced by supply and demand. The same, if we have the same zero-star beds hotels all over Switzerland, it will not be that special supply and demand comes into play. But if you have experiences that guide transformations, that change people, that move them, that self-actualize them, because self-actualization is the keyword today in advanced industrial societies. People want to self-actualize. If you have that, then it is quite hard to become undifferentiated and judged by supply and demand, and therefore your pricing becomes premium. And that's about quality and not quantity as a strategy in tourism. So there's a very interesting question that a philosopher, a modern philosopher, contemporary philosopher, Alain de Botton posed, which is, why do we eat so much nowadays? Why do we eat so much? We overeat all the time. So why? Can anyone raise their hands and suggestions? Sorry? Because we can do it, we have abundance, yes? Curiosity, boredom. Here's the answer from Alan. The shelves are still bare of the real ingredients we crave: understanding, forgiveness, tenderness, and closeness. This is very important, because this is what we need to design for. We have become alienated from what we should deliver to people. Our company, our design studio in Copenhagen that I'm part of, has worked with IKEA. And IKEA owns malls all over the globe. It has 73 shopping centers, China, Russia, and Europe. And they identified a shift in what customers want. They say, we need to move as fast as possible from shopping centers to experience centers. We have no idea how to do that, but we're willing to experiment because we see that in less than 10 years, we will lose a lot of money, and then our shops or malls will become ghost malls. And this is already happening in the US. So, on a study that they did in a new experience center that I want to open in St. Petersburg in 2022, they went and interviewed people and did an in-depth research on what people want, actually. So they want experiences that are interactive, that help develop skills that are for the whole family. And they provide a new experience and combines leisure with education. Again, guides transformations. It's not passive, it's active, it's immersive. So I have some proposal for snow, mountains, and tourism in general. So what if we redesign hiking trails into relationship building journeys? So what if we do not draw bridges, but we create something else? We create bridges for relationships on our hiking. How would that look like? I have some small examples, but there's not that much innovation, I'm sorry to say. Not too much where to draw from. So I took examples from other industries, other experiences, and we can just imagine how we can apply it to tourism. So this is the Van Gogh bicycle path in the Netherlands. And just by being with a friend or with someone in the evening and just biking on this path is just magical. And I added here a video link so you can get the presentation afterwards and you can see the individual videos. I don't have enough time to show all of them, so you can check them later. This is Soul Pancake in the US. They do all sorts of interesting street experiments. And here you see like headphones, huge ones. And on the other side, there is a booth. So here, you have to sit if you want to receive a compliment. And then you sit in a booth, in a phone booth, if you want to give a compliment. So let's say you're with your wife or you're with your kids, and you're just traveling on a hiking path, and then you see this booth. If you stay in one place, you give a compliment. In another place, you receive one. It is incredible how powerful this is because we forget to compliment each other on a daily basis. Receiving a compliment from your husband by designing this in a hiking trail or from your wife is very special and it builds bonding. So what if our mountains teach history? This is Fairweather Manor. And our design studio in Copenhagen does a lot of what we call live action role play experiences. Live action role play. And how does this look like? This is inspired by Downton Abbey, which is about the life of nobles and servants at the beginning of 20th century during the First World War. And this game specifically takes place in the darkest hour of Britain, when they're almost about to lose. And it is the last reminiscence of nobility, because after the First World War, everything changes. So here you come at this beautiful, it's a castle hotel in Poland, and you can role play either a noble or a servant of a great family for 4 days, where you eat and sleep at the castle. You participate in all sorts of activities, and you're not being yourself, you're role-playing a character. And this is incredibly strong, because people have alibi to be someone else. To be someone else for 4 days. I have an alibi to be Duke Somerset, and as a role player, I'm giving this party for 150 people that relate to me as Duke Somerset. I have a costume. The brain makes no difference between fantasy fiction and reality, because as you see, maybe a lot of you have seen virtual reality videos with people that put the goggles on and then they're in a roller coaster and they're freaking out. It's because the brain makes no difference. So in role-playing, the brain makes no difference, and you get to experience that, and it's very strong. We have a lot of people that go home, quit their job, change their relationship, and also maybe move to another city. That is a transformational experience. And we're selling out. We have experiences with pirates on historical sailing ships. We have experience inspired from Harry Potter. We have experiences inspired from vampires. We have experiences where we've taken, we went with a van from Chicago to Los Angeles for 7 days, traveled with a fake rock band, and you can be the lead singer or you can be a guitar player in the band. You need to have some skills of music. And then you can role-play either a band member, you can be a groupie following the band along, a journalist or a band manager. And then you're role-playing for 7 days, you're walking along Route 66, and then you're having real concerts in real venues where the people don't know that you're role-playing. And all of a sudden you have someone that is 50 years old who came as a role-player and who's a mother of 4 kids in the US and could experience how it is to be a rock star for 7 days. That is very strong as an experience. So what if we redesign hotels as educational centers for all ages? The same as if you have a hotel, you can always redesign it to be something else. It doesn't have to be a hotel. It's all about framing. You have a shopping center, it can become an experience center for self-development. And here are some examples. We have the bio design studios, you have the video link there that you can watch, which is an interactive, immersive experience where families, adults, people of all ages can come and play with biology in front of their eyes. They can modify, they can see it on the screen, they merge cells together. It's extremely, if you look at this kid, look how immersed he is. And this is not the game, this is simple exploration. It's education. Kidzania, how many of you have heard about Kidzania? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 people. 5. So Kidzania is, again, role-playing for children. It's a small-scale world where children can come in and role-play different jobs. And it has grown, it has been launched in Mexico, and I think right now it has expanded more than 6 countries. So you leave your kid for a couple of hours, and then your kid can either be a firefighter or a policeman or a doctor, and she has all the tools necessary. Other kids, they have an internal economy. They can be the president of Kidzania, they can be the mayor, they can be anything that they want in that universe. And they can have that experience, and it's unique. And again, the pricing for it, it's premium. You don't have to sell low price, create low quality jobs. You create extremely interesting jobs to facilitate this type of experience, and people are excited to work there, to create something extraordinary. The School of Life, I just mentioned Alain de Botton. The School of Life is a small studio where philosophy is being deconstructed so you can apply it in your daily life. And then you go there for small sessions with people that are well-read and experienced. And then you learn how to apply philosophy to your day-to-day life, also known as practical philosophy. So you go on holiday to become a better person and not necessarily to be immersed in full hedonism. You might do that for a couple of days, but you want growth. And this is an example of how you can do this and redesign the hotel to encompass these transformational experiences. So what if our mountains become immersive art galleries? And since 2015, since I started traveling and talking about transformational experiences, memorable experiences, I was disappointed because I couldn't find almost anything, and I think Dimitrios can agree with this. There is not that much that blows your mind as a design experience. So I just found two. One of them was College of Wizardry in the castle, and then I decided to immediately be part of the company, and now I'm a growth partner and part of the business shareholder. And the other one was Meow Wolf. And this has has been financed by George R. Martin, the writer of Game of Thrones, and it is an immersive art gallery in New Mexico. And what I want to show you is a video to see the reactions when you manage to create an extraordinary experience, how the reactions of the people is.
Bienvenidos. It's nice to have you.
I've never seen anything like this before, ever. Maybe in dreams.
Maybe if I were the original Alice in Wonderland and fell through the rabbit hole, maybe that would be something like this.
It's like a million different dimensions in one building.
Is like a Salvador Dali painting.
Like a really trippy video game in real life.
Every quarter, I'm surprised.
I don't think I've ever had an experience like this in all my time.
There's just so many things and so many different things to look at, to touch, to just take in.
It's interactive, it's a story.
Like I really want to, at this point, dig into the story because there's something else going on there.
And there's like a whole mystery pocket dimension thing.
Murder mystery meets art installation.
This kid's face just keeps popping up everywhere and he's scaring me.
And it's really like a big mystery that you have to like put together these cool clues.
There are different levels of experience depending on your degree of consciousness.
This is like an incredibly unique place.
Exactly. There are different layers of experience depending on your level of consciousness. How amazing is that? So what if our attractions create nature guardians and ambassadors? And this is a project that we did in Romania, in a Transylvanian forest. And we wanted here to teach by storytelling. So the core thing is, how do you create awareness about the fact that we're destroying our nature? And here we created an elven kingdom. The elves are the magical, mystical creatures with long, pointy ears. And we trained 20 young people in becoming experienced facilitators. We took 3 weeks to build a park out of branches, so zero investment other than volunteer work. And then we launched the experience with these training facilitators. They had costumes, they had bows, and they had different clans. And the story was, the queen came here as a refugee together with the elves, running away from the fact that her forest, where she had her original house, has been cut down by human. As a last resort, they choose to ask for the help of humans to stop cutting forests and be nice to nature, and they're willing to help them understand. So after coming in, we had approximately 250 to 300 guests per day for a 2-hour experience, hiking, coming in the park, and then leaving as ambassadors of nature. And then role-playing with the elves. And this is not for children only. There's so many experiences out there that actually allow you to create a bond with your child, that facilitate adult and children play together so you can become and actually have a strong relationship with your kid. And this is what we managed to do, this plus create ambassadors. You have the queen at the end saying, we're glad that you came here, and now we hope that you will take in serious being a protector of nature. Everyone gets a pin, and they become protectors of nature. And we had lots of people coming back to build the forest together with us. So what if we work hard to figure it out? And I'm saying work hard because this is the secret sauce. If you want to do an extraordinary experience, you need to be able to be open for experimentation and ambiguity. And this is this stage here. And if you work hard and push until the end with your experiments, you will at one point reach clarity. But most companies, most people stop here because they see some obstacles. They stop and they never go on with incredible extraordinary projects. So push until the end because you will see the light. So this is a very interesting quote from Alvin Toffler. He's saying, the illiterate of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write, but those who cannot learn, unlearn, and relearn. What we have to do is unlearn and then relearn. For example, conference centers should not have stages and chairs because this is not a good experience. We can make much more use of the space and of everyone here if we do not have unilateral experience, if we co-create together. So we need to unlearn that and create something better. And that's what we're trying to do at the College of Extraordinary Experiences, gathering global leaders and removing the stage and the chairs to figure out how we drive this revolution. And this is like a very short clip about it.
And I have to say, even my very high expectations were exceeded.
So, if you wish to be put on the map of experimentalists, you have to send an email here. We have a huge network of interesting people that we can just send to your destination and have a look at what you can do, how we can drive this, how we can help you work hard. And that is more or less it. Thank you very much.
Very good presentation, plenty of ideas.